To the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, to all spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to all the divine hierarchy, and to all the saints. To the hierarchy of the holy angels and archangels, and to all the great ones, we humbly thank you for your divine and priceless blessings, for your priceless guidance, for your illumination, divine oneness, divine help, divine protection, divine guidance, and divine help. Thank you for the priceless teachings, the priceless blessings, and the priceless love. With thanks and for faith, we humbly thank you. So be it. Okay, well, welcome to the spiritual study group. Um, where are we continue reading um, the spiritual essence of man? Thank you. The chakras and the birth, the tree of life. So last week we covered chapter. We were still on chapter 4.
These are page 87.
Mm-hmm. Page 87. Chesed, the heart chakra.
I'm sorry, which page?
87.
87.
87. Oh, yeah, thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come. Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Right behind here is the AC. Could you make
Turn it on,
colder?
make it a little bit colder.
Thank you. Okay. So we did cover in giving the way to prosperity, yes?
Yes.
Did anybody have any experience with this? With giving and receiving? You know, you give, you receive. Yeah. Oh, you were telling me, right? Oh, what was your experience?
Oh, you tried the cookie or whatever chocolate
Oh, not the
challenge?
chocolate with money. Money came back hundredfold. So it was.
Oh, yeah?
It was a good feeling. It was
Oh, that's
good
great.
experience,
That's
yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
now 10% of where it's at, right?
Whatever. That's what they recommend, but whatever, you sometimes, if people don't have 10%, you give what you can, right? And then you see if it comes back. But you would do it objectively as an experiment,
Yeah. So
That's very good.
I want to know more, like, how did you do it? Did you do it in a prayerful way, in an intentional way, or just relaxed, not a lot of thought behind it?
I mean, it's actually a little bit of all of it, right? Like, because it comes from the heart, right? So like activate the heart chakra, and then you also give because you want to, right? But then it's hard because if you know that you're giving
In
to
order
receive some back.
Right.
But then after we had the conversation last week where it doesn't matter because you're at least building the muscle, that even that seemed to have kind of balanced things out, right? But so I put it out there with the intention of knowing that the universe will return it to me. Not like, oh, I don't have this, but I want some back, so let me just give it and maybe it'll come back. Like not like that, like just like here,
And you gave
And
to
the universe will take care of
something
it.
or someone you cared about, or like.
Both, like I started just doing it, like
Oh,
any
you
which
did it
way.
more than once. You just started
Yeah.
giving.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I've been even trying to like tell my friends about like the chocolate thing and all that, like just at least that story as well for those that didn't
Yeah.
believe it.
What was the chocolate thing? I'm sorry, because I wasn't.
Like if you get what you give, right? So if you want chocolate,
Give chocolate
don't
to all
give
your
cherries
friends.
and apples and strawberries. Give chocolate, so you get what you give, and so that was
And don't give money. If you want chocolate, don't give money.
you just get money back, and nobody.
Because it's true, like if you really want chocolate, then if we go out, you're just gonna get money, but really want give chocolate.
It's actually what you were saying about giving, like giving with the intention of receiving and how it still works regardless. Similar concept in psychology is when you tell depressed people to like just
Fake
smile.
it till you make it, yes.
Like, and so
Yeah.
you smile, and the act of smiling sends signals to your brain that produces those endorphins that get you feeling happy.
Yeah.
So it works.
But it's weird because we see that like in various parts of nature, right? Like it's not just like planting a seed and then it grows into a tree that bears fruit that then has more seeds. It's also like in the way that the water evaporates into the clouds and then the clouds return to water. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's like this constant balance.
Cycle.
And so like if you're always like taking, what happens when that happens with rain? It just floods and destroys everything, you know? So
Look, you guys want to do an experiment? It's really quick. And since you guys are
You
doing
should
it,
bring
not,
your
and
pendulum.
since you guys are doing it and not me, it's actually fun for me. Okay, good.
I don't.
Okay, so
More
everybody,
experience.
and you guys can do this at home also. So everybody inhale, right? So just inhale more. Now don't exhale. This is inhale more and more. Continue inhaling more. Good. You're doing very well. Continue inhaling more and more. Don't stop. More and more. And very brusquely, as much as you can, not slow. Just go. Okay. There we go. So eventually you won't be able to continue, right? You'll collapse. So, and if you try to do it, if you try to cheat and do it like very slowly, inhale as much as you can, as fast as you can, as continuous as you can. And in a few seconds you won't be able to.
And it's interesting because the same goes for exhaling. So it's not.
That's where we're going next. So
Yeah.
we haven't finished. We haven't finished the exercise. That's good. All right. So that's when you are taking, when you're receiving, right? You receive. Eventually you will stop. You cannot receive anymore. So now if you exhale, as much as you can, as fast as you can, and continuous as you can, not slow. Go. Everybody go. Okay, so what happens? You can't. You
die.
give.
You die.
Exactly, you die. Okay, so if you
Your body
give, eventually
Not the soul.
you can't just give either. You understand? So someone told me this weekend, Leo, you gotta learn how to receive. So then Georgia told me this weekend.
So I reminded you.
Yeah, he reminded me. So then, but since we're on the topic, hey, we're all guilty of it, right? So then we give and receive. But this is the thing. So you inhale and you exhale, right? We exhale carbon monoxide, right? And the plants need that.
Yeah.
And when they inhale that and they exhale oxygen, we need that.
Yeah.
We give and we receive.
That's right.
So
That's why
the
I
same
go-
happens with everything. And by doing that unknowingly, we are creating breathing karma. We help others breathe, other beings breathe, and we are helped to breathe. We give what you want. So what you need, what you would like, you give it. And so that's why you give knowledge, you receive knowledge. You give money, you get money. You give chocolate, you gain chocolate. And sometimes, and sometimes, this is a controversial topic sometimes with people about money and things like that, but not everybody wants money. Sometimes you just want love. You just want, sometimes you just want knowledge. Sometimes you just want chocolate. You want food. I'm not joking. Like sometimes, look, I wish I had. Look,
Like
you're
that's
7
the
years
job.
old.
You
You
don't
wish
always
you
want more
lived
money.
in the chocolate land. Okay, And sometimes you just want other things. You understand? Like, and sometimes you do want money. And sometimes you want many other things, but you give these things. That's why when we bless people, especially those that are in the process and they don't understand what they're doing to us and they may do us harm, when you bless them back, so that you don't connect and you bless everybody. So we bless them with all the things that we want for ourselves, because most people want similar things, right? Everybody wants love, everybody wants happiness, a better life.
But when you give money, sometimes you're giving love.
Yes. Yes, everything is interconnected. You
So I
understand?
was walking every morning, early in the morning, I always used to meet these street people.
Mm-hmm.
And they would always ask me, oh, I don't have anything, I'm sorry. So I made it my task to carry a few spare dollars always.
That's very good.
But I would give it with love.
Of course.
That was-
Yeah, whatever they do with that is their thing, right? Is their
Right.
issue, you know. But you're giving, you know, like it says in Matthew, whoever asks for you, give to them. So, you know, it's very interesting because at the end of the day, so that's why this is in the heart chakra chapter. So it was the giving, the way to prosperity. That was the title for last week, right? I wrote some stuff, I can't find it, but it's okay. So then, so it's basically that. So why is giving the way to prosperity? Basically because of the law of karma. You know, you give and you receive. And then this is called the law of karma or the law of action in the Hindu tradition. This is also in the Christian tradition. What you sow, so as you sow, so shall you reap. There are many traditions, is there, right? In every tradition, really, they tell you the same thing. So that was basically that. Then in the Taoist, you know, the Tao Te Ching, the more he gives, the more he has. Essentially. You understand? And that's that. So and really, look, I'll say something about the chapter. We're looking at every chakra, and it is every chakra is very important. But this chapter, if you look, it has many different facets because it talks about it being like the center of higher emotions. So if we start from the beginning of the chapter, right? It says the center of higher emotions. Then it talks about general physiological functions like but that's like in every one. But then it says giving the way to prosperity. Then it talks about the kingdom come. It says love as a gateway to illumination, auric cleansing and achieving inner calmness. All these things are things that we want in the world. These are things that gives us a better life. The other ones, yes, also, right? But this specifically is a chakra that performs, auric cleansing. What do we know about auric cleansing? Is that it cleanses your aura. And what happens when you cleanse your aura? Your mind is calmer. From what? From negative emotions, negative thoughts, all these things, right? Dirty energy. You become cleaner. Energetic hygiene manifests as a calmer, peaceful being. And it says inner calmness. Everybody seeks inner peace. Everybody seeks peace. Love. You understand? Love as a gateway to illumination. We seek illumination. This is a special center for that. For higher spiritual progress. Right? And then it starts with love. With love for others. The kingdom come. Creating the kingdom right in the world. Let the kingdom of heaven come here so that this can become the kingdom. So we can have world peace. So we can have love. So everyone can be lovingly kind to everybody else. So all these isms can stop. You understand? So separation, all these things can stop. So we can all be, if we have, brotherly and sisterly love. Giving the way to prosperity, we give it to each other, we help each other, and we become more prosperous. And poverty, that we help each other, love each other, we become healthy, cleanse, achieve inner peace, achieve spirituality, illumination. This chapter is very important for humanity. This is the key to humanity's next step. That's why even in the chapter, the author talks about that, did we read it already? It talks about that a lot of times, right, in the modern education, that there is a lack of virtue and a lack of love, the development of the love aspect, the development of the heart chakra, right? And he says that because right now the advancements on careers, you just need intellect. You just need, that you can actually do a good job. So people are very keen, and the educational system is all about academics, right? If you do well on the test, and they said a lot about the intellect and about what you can do. But and he says, although he's intelligent and successful, his human relationship skills may be very poor. Sometimes people relationship skills are poor because they're not developed. And this is not people's fault. Sometimes it's just how the system has become. It's
Well,
just
Oh,
what we do.
I was just gonna say that there's a lot of emphasis on STEM disciplines, and it's mainly because of funding, like money, the funding that schools receive from those sorts of programs.
Mhm.
But what you're saying is something that people I think are realizing now is the fact that you need to not stop. You need to emphasize the humanities just as much as STEM
Correct.
areas, because those disciplines that fall within that branch, those are the programs that are emphasizing all of the soft skills and like the emotional intelligence and the people skills and the ability to connect with others. So I think that it's starting to shift in that direction where people are starting to realize that you can't just have a society made up of engineers. You need to have, well-rounded
Yes.
and more like
And,
integrated disciplines.
and to be fair, in higher education, you also have always you have like they may teach a class of philosophy, a class of logic, a class of ethics, a class of psychology, but
But it's not enough.
it's not enough. That's what I was gonna say. The intention is there, but it's not enough. Why? Because it should be pervasive.
It
because-
has to be
because the
reinforced
intellect-
throughout the curriculum.
The intellect, what we have to understand is that we have to see it as a principle, not as a ethics, as a thing,
As a whole.
as a standalone. Because you see, when you look at the principle, all of the classes require you to have a good intellect, all of them, in different ways. But not all of them require you to have, or at least pay attention to the development of the heart aspect of these higher emotions, or
The social impact. Or
correct. So this is important, and also so that you have this. What would also be good if you have the final balance, and you also have things that will teach people how to become organized. So in development of willpower, so that it's not only organized but also like good habits of work habits, etc. This will be completely balanced. You understand education, and this in every class, in everything that is done, because even in the humanities, it is still, even in the humanities programs, not the heart center virtues and all of that is not fully emphasized.
Brought up, yeah.
You can be artistic and you
It's
can
still, there's
just
philosophical humanities that
correct,
doesn't really.
and it's missing
Right.
that. And you can have an art class and be all this and paint terrible things,
Yeah.
and it's okay. I mean, you should be able to do whatever you want to do, but it's what is being conveyed. You
Yeah.
understand?
what is important.
What is important? What is the goal?
I
And what are you
thought,
trying to help people with their emotions, with their things? There's obviously something going on with the person, so
Yeah.
we need to help each other and help everybody.
How to be a human being.
Correct.
And we could see like in a macrocosm kind of way, if we take Haile Selassie as the head of nations, the crown of the chakra crown as the head of state of all nations.
Correct.
If we see it in that way. we could see that the United Nations as a body, right, it's full of well-educated men, women, academics, in their fields and their governorship. They're very educated and formal. But I've always said, well, what does it take to be truly united? What is the extent of unity? It comes through love, So if they're just in their suit and ties, sitting up there making, these kind of, overtures and building agendas and this kind of thing, it's not enough to say it's really the United Nations. What does it take to be United Nations? I've said they should all get naked, and sit together and eat a food with their hands in a circle. They
But
should.
also prepare.
Have you done that?
But I already got the academics down. I mean, they're all like,
That's hilarious.
let them come
That's funny.
together and,
There'll be a
Here's an idea for
scientific-
next Monday, no, I'm just
Join the newest company.
Okay, so I will not be naked next one.
kidding.
No, but this is I think that yes, but it is, we laugh, but it is important that we at least, like Georgia says, we prepare for each other, like that, and then share meals, all these things are important, yes, but we still need to achieve balance, right? We have the active intelligence, right, so that we can use it actively, right, and guided by the heart properly. So that is for all, for society, and the will to do good. Again, guided by the heart. We have good willpower, right, so that we can, actually get things done. Know how to do them, and all of this guided by the heart. So, but and I think this is very important chapter because of that, because of humanity's issues lie here in the lack of virtue, or let's just say we're in the process of becoming more and more virtuous every day. But it's that process, and it's that understanding of love and kindness for all beings. And this is really the messages that have been given by all avatars and by all saints and by all people. The messages that I personally received in experiences that have with other with higher evolved beings have been that they all are talking about love, loving kindness, that all the nations, all the people of the earth can be more loving towards each other, that they can we can help each other and be more loving and be kind.
I'm doing a grant writing for different health clinics, and there's not enough behavioral health services almost anywhere in the country, and definitely not in Florida. And after the Parkland incident, and in Florida, we've had 3 of those major shootings, 3. And when you look at the statistics, there's no help. If you don't have money and you don't have insurance, there's no services for you. You basically have to commit a crime or act so crazy that you think you're gonna hurt someone or someone else, and they put you in jail, and then you can get help. And even if your family has money and you can afford, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, the statistics show that it doesn't help, not for young people. The young people who are shooting in schools, they're very troubled. They're very disconnected from their families, their parents, their friends. And it isn't always bad and crazy parents who, don't love their kids. But there have also been people who've really pushed for meditation to be brought to schools. And it's been very successful in inner city schools with minority kids who walk through gang-infested neighborhoods and who have parents who are in jail on drugs, all of that. And it's been amazing how those kids completely change when they start doing meditation every
That's
day.
amazing.
And they look forward to going to school. Their grades improve because they're calm inside. Before meditation, they had so much emotion they didn't know what to do with. They didn't know how to express how they felt. They didn't know how to feel through what they felt, and they had no one listening. But with meditation, they were taught how to go within and speak
with themselves, or even not speak, but be in that space of quiet, that literally helped to give them peace. So
So-
if we could have more of that.
Yeah,
And it's not
That'd be
just
amazing.
It's amazing.
with youth and the education system, but also the prison system.
Yeah,
I think Maharishi University is doing that project, one of those projects.
yes.
Which one?
Maharishi
Yeah.
which
University.
project?
The meditation
the
on
meditation in the
the
schools.
minority
Yeah.
schools and the
Yes.
prisons too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, David Lynch is like a very big
Yeah,
supporter.
David Lynch,
and-
yep.
Yeah, for transcendental meditation.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a marked difference from the recent past. That's a revolutionary.
Yeah, it is.
That's
It is,
good
and-
news.
Yeah.
And that's
Actually, they
beautiful.
have so,
That's beautiful. That like those are great news. Those are the news we should be listening.
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Yes, we don't, they.
Somebody
we
needs to
don't care
come up
about
with that, like positive news.
Yeah.
That should be a thing, positive
It should
news.
be, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I just had that idea.
Good, let's do it. We already are. So
Because I'm
we
so
we
like,
can see
I
our
don't watch the news because of
Right.
that.
so
It's
our
just like-
correspondence.
constant.
As you heard our correspondence today, there are great things going on right now in schools and in prisons with doing meditations in minority schools and in prisons, and we can see great results in improvement of mental health of the population and in hospitals. That's great. See, our oral correspondents here, as well correspondents, have brought this to you. Thank you. Give a like and come again. Thank you. Okay. So, no, but yes, it's true. We should do that. Let's do it. So, but yes, but going back to this is a very special chapter. This very special chapter that I manage everyone to take into their lives and go back to it and share it, and I really think it's important. So, and that's why we spend a little bit more time on it because of that. So, the kingdom come. Okay. So as you can see, the most of these, who can share with Jordan?
And you can-
I didn't know you didn't have one.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. So, kingdom come. The kingdom come. As you can see in every chapter, he has the author has one phrase from the Lord's Prayer. The one that has to do with Chesed is the kingdom come, with the heart center. So, he says here that this phrase corresponds to the heart chakra and the virtues of compassion, mercy, love, giving, and sharing. It is by giving and sharing that one generates prosperity karma or inherits the kingdom. Now, he says prosperity karma, right? Or prosperity merits. Let's just say, call them merits. So the question is, so is the kingdom have to do with karma so that you can be prosperous, so you can have lots of money? Is that what the kingdom come?
No.
No, right? So just a small part of it. It's just that sometimes when people say prosperity karma, they focus on the money aspect of prosperity. Money or the how much money one has it's just energy, right? And it's just a manifestation of materialization energy. Energy that is for materialization. That's that. It's not nothing else. So, but in reality, when inheriting the kingdom and the prosperity karma, there is prosperity on many aspects. But it's just are prosperous spiritually. So you are spiritually prosperous. You can be wealthy in love. You can be prosperous in love, in compassion, in kindness, in calmness, in
Spirituality.
peace, in spirituality. There is countless of prosperity, but it's like it is said in different traditions, divine providence that is being provided for you. So when you have a kingdom, a prosperous kingdom, and His Imperial Majesty comes to mind in those times when you have an utopia, right? Let's just say an utopia. So when you have an utopia, you have everything. The place is wealthy. Everyone has a
It's
job.
thriving.
Everyone is thriving. There is many things. Also, there is everybody's happy. There's a lot of joy. People are good families. Everybody loves each other. There is peace. No crap. All of that has to do with the kingdom, but that's what is meant by prosperity karma. That utopia can happen in one's life. So when we read prosperity karma, do not focus on financial material prosperity only. It's physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, spiritual, right? Energetic. There's many types of prosperity. So like an utopia at many levels. With the people, inner relations with people, that's also a form of prosperity. If you have good relations, if you're prosperous in the relationships that you have with people, with your lover, with your friends, with those around you, that's good relations. With your children, with your loved ones. Is that. So by meditating on the author continues, by meditating on the heart chakra, on the deeper meaning of the phrase, thy kingdom come, the heart chakra is activated. So, and this tends to make a person more giving, more compassionate, and generous. It also creates in the person a great sense of peace. So, if you look, this is very interesting how the author wrote this, because he says at the beginning that this phrase corresponds to the heart chakra, right? Thy kingdom come, and the virtues of compassion, mercy, love, giving, and sharing. Remember those. Compassion, mercy, love, giving, and sharing. And if you look at the end, it says the person is more giving, more compassionate, and generous. It's like it's like a cycle, it's going back. So how is a person becoming more compassionate, giving, and generous? By meditating on the heart chakra and on the deeper meaning of this phrase. So even when you do the Lord's Prayer, or even if you don't do it, when you just focus, let's just say you meditate on the heart chakra, or if you want to in this phrase or what this means, what are the deeper meanings? Is that kingdom come? What is the kingdom? What is a kingdom? Is where we live. It's where we have our being, where we are. It's a place where there's a set of laws and all these things, and these are followed, and these are natural laws set by the Most High, right? So when you have nature works in this way, right? And when you have a deeper meaning of understanding, like the Lord Buddha used to say, Lord Buddha said the following. Paraphrasing. So let's just say paraphrase. So the Lord Buddha said, he asked his students, so would it be smart for a man who's carrying, who's on a boat, who gets on a boat to get to the yonder shore? And upon reaching the yonder shore, is it wise for the man to then grab the boat that he used to get to the yonder shore and carry it around, just carry the boat or drag it everywhere he goes, or to just leave it docked at the shore? Do you see people carrying their boats once they get to the marina or whatever? No, they leave it at the marina, right? Can you imagine having to carry your boat everywhere? You get into your house, you're dragging the boat. You better go to the restroom. Hold on, you're dragging the boat to the restroom.
The Vikings used
Yes,
to drag their boats all over.
it's true, but not to the restroom. So, or to cook, or to go hunt, and you're like hunting and trying to, it's scary. The deer keeps on running me. I don't know why. Also, it's not very wise, right, for someone to be carrying the boat once they use it to get to the other shore. So what does the boat represent? The boat represents the rules and the techniques and the things, you gotta meditate like this, the palette. And you have all these regulations, all these things that help you, obviously, to reach the younger shore, to reach the shore of enlightenment, of nirvana, of oneness, to reach heaven, to reach God. So, but once you're there, right, all things disappear, right? There's no duality, there's no boat, there's no river, there's nothing, right? It's just an adjustment of the eyes. There's oneness. So, the rules are there for us to live together, to live properly. But at the same time, it is that. So what is the kingdom? The kingdom is, then the laws and all these things become natural. It's just part of life. And you automatically, become
the
that.
way.
It's just the way. You like virtue. We try to become more virtuous, but there's gonna be a point where we become virtue itself, because that is the characteristics of the soul are virtue itself. Anything that we don't do that is not virtuous, it's not us. It's our personality, it's our lower nature, right? The physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, acting, and not us in control.
It's to live in balance, because the heart is like the middle chakra. It's like balancing
Correct.
both worlds.
Both worlds, yes. So it is very important. So what is the kingdom? And like what Giorgio just said, why is it important? It's because the heart even makes the lower worlds and the lower chakras and what we need them for, because they're useful and very needed for what our spiritual progress, is that it makes them positive. It makes it a positive experience. So this is really important. So the understanding that this understanding, right, having a greater understanding also helps us and allows us to become more giving and more compassionate, right? More virtuous.
And I'm trying to recall something you said in an earlier session about activating the heart helps us cleanse a congested solar plexus.
So yes, we're getting to that. That's in the next section of the auric cleansing and achieving the calmness. But yes, I hope it's there. But yes, by you activating the heart, we did with that already. Yeah. By you activating the heart, it does affect the solar plexus. There is connections. There's energy connections between the heart and the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. And as the solar plexus chakra also has influence over the heart, and vice versa. So by us activating the heart, it also cleanses the solar plexus chakra. It does regulate the solar plexus chakra, as well as the thymus gland, as we saw in the physiological functions and the heart. That's what I think will be ready.
And yet, the heart is not the gateway chakra, which is interesting. Not there, but in terms of the hidden chakra,
It's not
the
the
throat
abyss.
chakra. It's not the abyss.
It's not the abyss, no.
But it is the gateway to illumination.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Because so much of the transmutation happens here. So you would think that all of the stuff coming from the lower chakras, fear, certain passions, emotions that can get caught up in a negative way, even if you have a positive intention, it can get transmuted here, and you would think, okay, so now you're there, go up to
Well,
the
it gets
higher
transmuted
And
there, but
yes.
then it gets concretize or whatever here? Is that it?
In the
Physicalized?
No, so the
The
thing
pathway.
is yes, the abyss, right?
Yes.
And all that, but this also, remember, has to do, so how do we understand that? So we look at the bigger picture. So whatever we want, when we want to understand the macrocosm, we look at the microcosm. Whenever we want to look at the understand the microcosm, we turn to the macrocosm, right? So what are the chakras also? They are gates, right? And they connect. They're connecting points to different dimensions or planes. So the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra have to do with the higher astral plane or higher emotional plane and the lower emotional plane or the lower astral plane. Yes, the same happens with the throat chakra and the lower mental plane. Okay, so then this is, and in the microcosm in these planes, that's also the separation, the abyss. And that's why we have our personality has to do with the lower mental, astral, and physical bodies are the lower vehicles. So this has the thing is that the heart has a transmuting effect. But in the throat chakra, right, even that is hidden, is connected to the higher planes. This activates right, and this activates the crown. Is that has a transmuting effect of all the lower energies. Or all these lower energies need to be transmuted, right? And also let's just say not only transmuted, but then as transmuted, enhanced, right, or cleansed before you go into that bridge, so that you can go through that bridge. Understand?
Okay, yes.
Into the higher planes.
It's kind of like the idea
Is
that
is the cleansing?
it needs to meet the vibration.
Huh?
It needs to meet that vibration
Yeah.
so that it can be.
But
Yeah.
the heart is connected to the crown chakra.
Yeah.
One
The
activates
chakras
the
are
other.
interconnected. They don't always have to go through here.
Okay.
You understand? But it's just at this level, there is a separation because see, again, this is not a crown chakra. This is a heart chakra for personal love. The vibration of the energy is still different. Because of this, there are many different levels of love. Just like there's many different levels of enlightenment, there are many different levels of mind and intellect. You understand? There are many different levels of things. That's why also, and there's many different levels of creation. That's why you have the sex chakra connected to the throat chakra. Why? Because one is lower creativity, the other one is higher creativity. And so the vibration is higher. Mental vibration is more subtle than emotional vibration. But divine love, not personal love, is more subtle than intellectual vibration. So yes, love is higher, but what type of love? Because everything is manifested, remember, from the divine downward, not the other way around. So there are many different levels of love, and these are just it's just like you have octaves on a piano or in music, and they're coming down so that they can meet at in that plane. That's why. But still, there are others. You have like sharps that are higher than or than notes or whatnot, right? Or than other notes. So that's how that is. Okay, so time is it? Okay. So the kingdom come. So we can have heaven and earth basically, right? Through love. Love God above all things and your neighbor as thyself.
Where are we?
We are now on page 88. We're turning to love as a gateway to illumination. Okay, so this is things here. The author talks about things that we have already discussed. Love as a gateway to illumination. Why does the author talk about here? So he says that Chesed, or the heart chakra, is the emotional part, like we were just saying, right? When you love your partner, parents, children, or relatives, it is Chesed that is manifesting. However, there is also a divine heart, and this is called Keter, also known as the Sahasrara chakra in Sanskrit. So Sahasrara means 1,000 petals, right? 1,000 petal lotus. We saw that is 12 inner petals and 960 outer petals, for a total of 972 petals. But who's counting, right? So, it's close enough to 1,000. 1,000 petal lotus. But he says something that I think is very, very important in this section, and we should understand. Keter, the crown chakra, right, is the center of divine love. The center of divine union or yoga, right? Yoga means union, specifically union with God or the divine supreme being. Unless, and this is it, unless your Keter, your crown chakra, is activated, you will not experience realization or divine union with your higher soul. This is super important. If the crown chakra is not activated, you will not experience soul realization or divine union with your higher soul, which is the whole point, right? So is activating your crown chakra important? Maybe a little bit. A lot, right? It's super important. This is one of the most important things you can do in your entire life. This is it.
And we activate it by activating the heart.
You activate it by activating the heart chakra. So that's why but this is the key for the subtitle and why the author is mentioning this. And sometimes I know I sound like a broken record about this, but this is really important. Why? Because the heart, once you activate the heart center, you automatically are activating the crown center. Consciously or unconsciously. Consciously always is also is more beneficial, is more powerful. You have better results. The same thing as you give and share generously, right? So you want something to come back to you fast or something. Of course, you donate, you do it with intention. Whether you do it with intention or not, it's gonna come back, right? But you want something, you do it with intention, right? It adds energy to it. Same with this. So, but it's very important to understand this, because also if people say, well, why am I not experiencing this? Why am I not experiencing that? Check and see. Activate your crown chakra first. Then we can talk. Or how do you activate your crown chakra? Many people do headstands, all this stuff. You hit people are hitting all this stuff. And you laugh, but it's normal, it's true. And can you do it? Yes. But what is the easy, fast, right? Unlock it. It's just, what is the key? The heart chakra.
The chase.
Hmm?
The chase chakra.
Chesed.
Chesed.
Yeah, the heart chakra. So, And it says here, but before the crown chakra can be activated, Chesed, or the heart chakra, must be activated. As simple as that. Look, that's why all the saints in the world, no matter what religion, not tradition, whatever, all the very spiritual people in the world, they have same patterns. They are very loving and lovingly kind, generous. The Prophet Muhammad, right? As he walked down the street, people threw pots, like plants, pot plants at him. They threw stuff at him. Also, what did he do? Bless them. He blessed them. He prayed to God for them, for their souls. He blessed them every day as he walked by. He blessed them with love, with compassion, and kindness. The Lord Christ, everybody knows. He gets crucified. What is the first thing he says? God forgive them, for they don't know what they do. Many saints, the same thing. The Lord Buddha, he's blessing people that are trying to call him a quack or they try to insult him. He blesses them. His Imperial Majesty also he has to deal with racism. He has to deal with many other nations. They insult him. They also demean him, etc. What does he do? He blesses them. So may they be blessed. He, calls for dialogue, all these things. Mandela, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, everybody, right? So great saints that they suffered many things. They always are blessing, asking God for blessing. Abraham is trying to, he is trying to, negotiate with God. A great business person, right? He's like, okay, so if don't you're gonna destroy the cities, from 50. He went from 50 down to 10 people. How about 10 people? God, I'm only ash and I'm only dust. But how about went from 50 down to 10? It's like God is like, okay. If I see 10 righteous people, I won't destroy. Things like that. But everybody's about compassion and love, right? Doesn't matter, lots of everyone. So, and many others, right? Within those traditions and other traditions. But it's that. So when a person does not have love for his own parents or relatives, how can he expect to have love for many people, including other beings? This is one of George's favorite things, other beings. We say we love for all people, and he always interjects and says, and other beings. And all beings, yes, all beings. Right? We all share our space with many beings. And then I always say corporeal and incorporeal. So, and then he says, based on clairvoyant observation, when the author talks about clairvoyant observation, he talks about, I think we should, we have to end soon. But anyway, so clairvoyant observation. Every time the author, let me explain, says clairvoyant observation, it's not like he is looking and then that's that. So Master Choa Otsui, he was a chemical engineer, right? He studied this chemical engineering, and he had also the scientific model. He used the scientific model all the time for experiments, specifically energetic experiments. So when you see in any of his books, he goes based on clairvoyant observation. There are actual different clairvoyants. What he used to do is he had different clairvoyants in different places, sometimes very far away cities or countries. And every clairvoyant thought that they were the only clairvoyant. Not that the teacher said, not that Master Choa said, oh, you're the only clairvoyant. But he said, look, I'm doing an experiment here. We asked them, but he never told them that there were other clairvoyants. So then the clairvoyant is giving him, what they see. Then he would call someone else, ask them, what do you see? This, or he would invite them over. What do you see? But not, and so all these was done through different, clairvoyance, and so that the study can be as clear as possible at different times. So every time you see something like that, understand that it's done like this to see, to take what all of them can actually see together and see if there's any discrepancies. Just based on clairvoyant observation, Chesed, or the heart chakra, is the lower correspondence of the crown chakra. Like we said, there are many different levels of love. So this is the center, right, Keter, of the crown chakra, the center for universal love, and Chesed, or the heart chakra, is the center for personal love, right? But it says here that the crown chakra, that the Chesed is the lower correspondence of the crown. And it says that, and why does that have to do with clairvoyant observation? It says the crown chakra, as we said, has 960 outer and petals and 12 inner petals. As we saw the other times as well, we saw that the heart chakra has 12 petals with golden energy. The 12 inner petals in the crown center also has golden energy. And if you look at them, they look very similar. We already did this, right, before. We're gonna do it again today, just to recapitulate. So we go to page 14 and
82.
82. Thank you. So as you can see, the front heart chakra and the inner 12 petals of the crown chakra are very similar. You understand? They have both pranas and the 12 petals. Not exactly the same, but very, very similar. So what does that tells us is that is like the lower correspondence. What does that mean? That the heart chakra eventually will become one day a crown chakra. So the crown chakra is an evolved heart chakra. And remember, the chakras are beings. The chakras are beings that are alive and with life. So they are beings, intelligent beings. They have a consciousness. So and as such they evolve. Right?
They're beings, but they're beings that are part of us.
Are they?
I don't know.
They're part of your vehicles. But yes, these chakras, the chakras, right?
Because they're portals.
Yes, but they're beings. Who said that a portal cannot be alive?
Everything, right? Yeah.
But it's your body and it's energetic.
The body's composite.
You have molecules in your body, right? And you have that are the smallest, right? Oh, they're not the smallest, but there's a small aspect of life, right? And those molecules, right, have or those cells. This is say cells. They have organelles, which are like little organs within itself, and they have life. They
organize.
They organize. They eat. They defecate. All this stuff.
Okay.
So you have beings within you. You have beings within beings. You are a universe,
Composite.
and not only at the physical level. Again, these are vehicles, and the bodies themselves have their own consciousness. That's why sometimes the bodies, when the soul is young, the bodies rule the soul. They take over. And the young soul has no idea and allows for this to happen because they think that's them.
That's who they are, right?
Once the soul becomes older, the soul starts, right, taking control and taking over. This is why, if you have the bodies are made, look, the vehicles are made to protect a divine being, a divine emanation from the source, the most high. Spirit means breath. Spirit comes from the Latin spiritus, which spiritus means breath. In this case, divine breath. Like the breath that, if you look at the Torah in the beginning, the breath of life that's given to Adam, right? Is that breath of life. That is spirit, the breath. That is why is it seen as a breath? It's because this is an emanation from you, of life force, right? So that's why it's called the breath. It's just a symbol for emanation of the highest essence of life. And so that spirit, that divine spark, pours a portion of itself down and it becomes a higher soul, which also pours a portion of itself down into this right, this dimension. And so you have the incarnated soul. From the incarnated soul, everything else is created. And all these, so all these vehicles, those lower vehicles, like the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, right? Or at least the lower mental body. These vehicles have to do with the incarnated soul, that created the incarnated soul. But these vehicles themselves are made, they are selfish in nature. Why are they selfish in nature? Because they have to protect they are hosting a divine being, which is you. It is their job to keep it alive so that it can do its learning and all this stuff. So it's about survival. They are concerned about the survival of that divine being. So they're naturally selfish. They try to keep themselves alive. You need to eat, you need to whatever. Oh, someone is being emotional, whatever. You need to snap. You need to think of ways of, securing yourself, So they're automatic. You understand? But at the same time, with a higher soul, it's just like little children. It is very hard sometimes to use their body. And what do you have to do? You have to teach them how to use their fingers, and then they start learning how to have more refined motor skills and things like that. It's it's like so you can see the growth. But at the same time, you have you grow. You start growing, and as the soul becomes more and more advanced, the soul has more and more control over these bodies, and they also evolve. And they evolve so that they can have, they can, as the soul evolves, it requires a better,
Integration.
not a better integration, but a body that can withstand
That soul and
that
all
soul
of
in
its
its power
vibration.
and vibration. So the bodies themselves evolve, and then they change as well. Like a 60-watt light bulb. When you send 120 watts, then you need
Yeah,
a
you
120-watt light bulb.
Right.
So, but the good thing is that this light bulb changes as we change, right? If we do it properly and safely. So, and that's done through the Kundalini energy, etc. And many of the energies, it goes upgrading the hardware.
Those bodies also have souls,
That's a good question. I was waiting for someone to ask that.
and the chakras too.
That's a very good question. So, let's look at this. I don't know if I want to answer that question just yet. because we have other books talking about this, right? But the bodies are emanations from your incarnated soul. And your incarnated soul is an emanation from your higher soul. And your higher soul is an emanation from your divine spark, or the monad or the spirit, right? And which is an emanation from the Most High. So the physical body, the organs of the physical body, right, do have chakras. Now, every acupuncture point is a chakra. So if every acupuncture point is a chakra, you have like more than 300 chakras. But why do we talk about an 11 chakra system? Because there are 11 major chakras on the body. Then you have like minor chakras, like secondary, then mini chakras, tertiary, mini chakras.
Nano chakras.
Yeah, right. So then, like that. So then you go. They're branching out. But as above, so below, right? So their energy centers in the organs also have chakras. But you have to, and to answer the question, I'm not gonna really answer the question, right? But I'm gonna
Indirectly.
just indirectly, at least give you some
Basis.
tools. So then, to really answer that question properly, you have to define really what is a chakra.
An energy center.
What an energy center, a focal point, right? So if that's a focal point of energy, is the sun a chakra?
Yes.
Yes.
Is the planet a chakra? Are you a chakra? Are you a focal point? Might not be a wheel, which is what the word chakra is, but are you a focal point of energy? What else is a focal point? Is a certain body, like an emotional body, a focal point of emotional energies, or of another plane? So, or an emanation. So, but there is a chakra that has to do, there's two chakras that have to do with that emotional body. We know is the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra, higher and the lower. So yes. So do animals have souls?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Animals have chakras.
I got a
Animals.
picture of
Okay,
Crown
so animals, do the animals have souls? Interesting question, right? So then, and what is a soul? And what are the different and how can a soul be manifest? So animals have something called group souls. So the lower but how are group souls created? You see, so this
I was
is
just
for
gonna
other
ask.
books. So then this is from other things. We're gonna read all this, but I can give a snippet, right? So what are group souls? Group souls are souls
Less
that can
developed,
actually,
less developed.
yes, for less developed beings, right? There are group souls. So these souls have many other, let's say, animals. I'm just gonna give the example of the animals, right? So you have one soul that has many animals where it touches, right? Like it manifests itself through many animals. As these animals die because something got in, whatever. All this information gets sent back to the soul. All these experiences get sent back to the soul through
Native
many.
people, they,
As they, just let me finish, and then
Sorry.
we can ask questions. So as all these things happen, the souls become more specialized. So then you have souls that are only for, let's just say, big cats, right? Others that are about rhinoceros. Others are more about mammals. Some reptiles. It goes from reptiles, mammals, this and that, and it's more specific. Specific types. Then like primates, or the others that are like dogs, and then you start getting to the domestic animals, which are like the masters of the animal kingdom. It's not the ones at the top of the food chain, but it's the ones that are closest to the next evolutionary level. And which are those? The ones that are domestic, the ones that can be with humanity, which is their next step. So then you have souls that are focused on domestic animals. Then you have souls that are focused on cats, focused on dogs, focused on whatever. So they become more specialized as the soul becomes more and more evolved. And until a point that something happens from that group soul, there is one of these domestic, and there's an individualization called the individualization of the soul. So it separates itself, and so and it's it emerges with a higher soul.
And that animal
So-
can later on
And
come
then
back as a human
what
being.
the individualization then is that soul that now becomes into the human experience.
Is it always human?
No.
It could be another being,
It could be
another
another
planet,
being.
another dimension.
But again,
With a high,
but humanity
a more
doesn't
developed
always.
being.
When you look, when I talk about humanity, it's to me it's a level of consciousness.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with us having a nose with two holes
Yeah.
and two eyes. I'm using it as a level of consciousness across the board. But you can be an incorporeal being, or not just an incorporeal being, but you can be like a deva or whatever, with a subtle body, or you can be in this evolutionary thing with a dense body. Generally, when you are talking about animals, they specific kinds, especially those with humanity, they go with to humanity as far as humans, right? Like us, because we're talking about others are more into we have different types of evolution. We have evolutions for the deva beings, or the beings in the incorporeal, or the subtle bodies kingdom. We're talking about fairies and elemental beings and angels and all that. And you have devas, and you have also another evolutionary ladder, which has to do with where we are in more dense bodies.
So
So-
then, do the chakras evolve and become, because if the heart chakra will eventually become a crown chakra, then the crown chakra eventually become,
wow.
That's a good question.
Because you said last week, everything goes back to source.
Yes.
Everything is
So-
on a path to source.
I don't know that I'm gonna answer that question.
Uh,
No, I'll answer it. I don't know, right? So I don't know. That's something for us to experience. So you can tell us once you experience. No, so there is evolution for the chakras, right? Look, the chakras. We're going to cover part of that, but we spoke about the three seeds, of consciousness, right?
Yes.
At some point, all of this gets taken back into when you reincarnate, and they come back, right? So there is hopefully an evolution of the being, and all these evolve to greater degrees with the being, right? There are also many levels of Lord Buddha's Crown Chakra is different than definitely different than my Crown Chakra. Okay, so it's a much awesome Crown Chakra. So we have different levels of this. Yes. So I don't know how much more questions we can take. We have to close. But
You
go
asked
ahead.
her. She's
Go
first.
ahead. No, go ahead.
When we reincarnate, our soul reincarnates with the same chakras system.
Let's
Let's
get there.
The season?
Let's get there. We're gonna get there. I'm gonna have to explain all these things. And
And then I had another question
Yes.
earlier. So when you talk about family karma and talking about like a group of souls and the connection and whatnot, you've talked about it healing your ancestral line or healing whatever. What is the connection between that and the souls and the chakras? Is there a connection just as, we be a chakra, like you said, right? If we're a chakra, is our family, are we a system of chakras or what is that connection?
Okay, so look,
Family constellations.
we're
So,
this is the thing. We can philosophize. I'm gonna answer your question, but let me say this part. We can philosophize all we want, and our questions are all the time gonna get more and more abstract. I'm trying to stay within this certain conscripts of the book, as far as So why? Because there are things that are beyond our understanding. We're gonna get to a point that's gonna be beyond our understanding. Understand? But there are certain things that are certain truths or certain things that are very basic. That are the principles, fundamentals, and essence of the teachings that are trying to be conveyed in the simplicity of the teachings here. But as we can see, these teachings can become very, very, very abstruse, very, very abstract. And we need to reach that level for us to understand them instead of trying to bring them to our level to understand them, because then we will not understand them properly. So, and then there is also the speech, and the speech is is another
Limiting.
limitation. So, like, we're saying, okay, so we're chakras, and we're saying, okay, we're chakras, okay, we're focal points of X, right? We can be focal points, but we also become many things. In this case, we're souls. Can we be a chakra? Well, as a focal point, but then there's a language, the semantics here getting involved. So I don't want to say, let's just say Leo said we're chakras, you understand, and we turn and all that stuff. Yes, there's energies around those, and we're saying, it can be right now, we will say we're souls. To keep it simple, we're souls. Are we like centers everywhere? Yes, we're centers of force. Yes, we are centers of force, and in the you can see that there is a being for ancestral. There's in your there's a family being that includes your ancestors. Are there focal points of energy in a family? Yes, every person is a focal point of energy in a family.
So as one person in that system grows, the others grow too.
Correct. So you affect
Interconnection.
So it is said, that's why it is said that you affect your family 7 generations backward and 7 generations forward. And again, I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you, and I'm saying yes to what you're saying. I just have to give I have to say before I answer that, talk about semantics, talk about things, and then so we can see it objectively and clearly. I want to make it simple. I want to say we're souls, we're in the process, we're growing, we have chakras and whatever, and then continue move on. And how can this help us right now in our daily life? And what is the author want to mean with this, mean with that, and then, but we deviate. I'm not saying we deviate, we can go above that and philosophize, but these are just our, us philosophizing and doing all these things. Yes, we can, and we can also see that, and I do agree. Yes, can we be focal points? Yes. Are there many focal points in a family? Yes. Is there a family being? Yes.
I never heard of that in school.
The family being? Yes. There is a family being. There is a country being. There is a
Oh,
county being.
elementals.
There is a Miami being. There is a U.S. being and a the continent being and stuff like that. And we have a planetary being and all this and so forth. So with the family, yes, you bless your family, and you can also bless your family, cleanse your family, all this stuff, and and send the good thoughts.
Seems like everything that can be conceived of with the mind is a being. Every concept, every
Well, ideas that you have, any thought that you have, is called a thought form and it actually has some sort of consciousness.
Yeah.
Because it comes from you. It's an emanation of you. So
you're
then
a creator.
you're creators.
I have
We
a
are all
problem with my car being a beam.
I don't know if the car is a being, but it's made up but all things are made up of beings. Right? I don't know if the car is a being.
It's composite of beings because it has earth materials to make
Right.
it. Which
So that's what I meant.
never can.
But I don't know if I would call my car a being.
Right.
Okay, good.
I probably would. But the materials.
It's an
It's made
interesting
out of-
creation by a being to see it as a.
So then, but yes, so the same happens also at the cosmic level. Okay, good. I'm glad we said that. Anyway, so shall we? Any more questions? No? Okay, great. Thanks. Okay. So, so we don't have any more time, but do write them down. And if you do see the video, you can put them in the comments and all these things, and we can get to it. We'll move this to the channel soon. Then we can do all the comments again. Okay. So, thank you guys for coming. And let's close. To the Divine Supreme and Absolute God, to my spiritual teacher, all spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to all the divine hierarchy and to all the saints, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones, we humbly thank you for your divine and priceless blessings, for your divine love, for the illumination, for your divine guidance, divine help, and divine protection. Thank you for the priceless teachings, for the divine knowledge, and the priceless love. We thank you in full faith. So be it. Many blessings. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Amma Namaste. Amma Namaste. Thank you.
Good reason. Love that.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
That was a good reasoning.
Yes. I do like our